Hey guys, this is Doug with fellowshipofthemartyrs.com. I'm back to talk to you some more about Todd Bentley in Lakeland, Florida, and not specifically about him. These are more general. I intend for this to be a more general discussion about what's happening, the mechanics of it, and why. And it will explain to you a whole bunch of the stuff that's gone before, what it is and why it happens, and how to defend against it. I'm getting emails from people all over the country and all over the world, actually, a brother in the Netherlands and people other places where Todd is scheduled to go, and they desperately don't want this to come. I mean, they desperately don't want this kind of impartation, this brand of outpouring to come, and are sending emails asking, how do we defend against this? It's almost every day I get an email or a YouTube message or a phone call from someone who has either been to Lakeland or has had the pastor go and force everyone in the congregation back home to receive the impartation or get out because this is a move of God. We've seen over and over youth ministers and pastors that are sweet and loving and likable go to absolute dictators when people question this at all. One of the ways that you know somebody has a red dragon, that they have a spirit of delusion, and that they're chasing something other than Jesus, is when you identify what that pearl is that the dragon is chasing. When you identify that and you comment about it or assault it, they will just wig out. Anyway, I'm going to make another video about that here shortly. But anyway, as far as this goes, I'm going to have to get creative with my video editing skills here to show you mechanically, technically, what's going on and why it's a problem, okay? And why I can't just flat out say, do not go to Lakeland. I'm not saying that. If the Lord tells you He could have all kinds of reasons for you to go, you need to go. But my advice all along has been to not look to man, to not receive anything that isn't of God, and to be careful about anyone laying hands on you or you laying hands on anyone. Okay, in the book I wrote, Reign Right Now, Lord, about 2 years ago, the Lord showed me about revival and about pouring His Spirit out on all flesh and what it was going to take and how it was going to happen and the process, the mechanics of it. I don't have a disagreement with impartation. I don't have a disagreement with healing. I don't have a disagreement with the body praying for each other at all. I know that those are the components of the right thing. The problem is, like we talked about in another video, a counterfeit looks almost exactly like the real thing, or it's not a good counterfeit at all. But there will be enough elements, enough little spots or missing pieces here and there on that $100 bill that you can tell that it's not the real thing. But it will fool a lot of people. And otherwise, it's not a good counterfeit. If it's purple or blue or whatever, and it's not even the right paper, and you know, it has to be close. Satan is going to do something that's close. Now, I'm not saying that everything that God does, Satan mimics. There are things Satan adds that God doesn't do. Anyway, the point of this is, in the Reign Right Now, Lord book, I talk about the cup model and the red, yellow, and blue, and how to get your cup full of Jesus and keep it full. And that we don't need a PowerPoint presentation and a worship band and a chandelier. We don't need to all go to a baseball stadium to get our cup full. Now, I'm going to show you some visual aids here, and I'm just going to talk as if I'm showing them to you and edit them in later. In your cup, there's you and there's sin. You get some Jesus in your cup. He stands between the you and the sin and convicts you of the red stuff and asks you to get it out of there. If you let Him fight your battles, then there's less and less red stuff, and that's more holiness, and He is going to fight your battles for you and free you from addiction or fear or whatever. Now, if you try to get the red stuff out with the yellow stuff, you're just going to squish the Jesus in you, because He doesn't want you to be your defender. He wants to be your defender. Now, the yellow stuff, the self, is always what invites in the red stuff. So you have to crucify yourself daily. He has to kill you to get you out of the way so He can increase and you can decrease. Now, over and over, 1 Peter 4:10 in the literal translations, in the Wycliffe and the Youngs and others, you'll see that 1 Peter 4:10 says, to be good dispensers one into another of the grace of God, the gifts of God, that's charisma, that have been entrusted to you. Now, I've been in congregation after congregation where I hear them pray in tongues, and they all sound the same, and usually nobody interprets, especially UPC and Kojics. And they almost always all sound the same. And I'm like, Lord, why do they sound the same? Because that guy laid hands on him, and they got what was in his cup. Everybody here is rotating the same tongue around in a circle. Okay, well, I have had imparted to me or imparted to other people gifts of administration, of singing in the Spirit, different prayer languages, discernment of spirits, wisdom, fear of the Lord, all kinds of stuff. I never have thought that it was a good idea to try to impart to people giggles or guffaws or whatever. I don't see the point of that. A lot of times I'll hold somebody's hand and say, Lord, give them all the fear of the Lord that I got, and they start screaming and see hell. And they're different. Okay, that's revival. I've got all kinds of people around here that have just completely come out of the world. I mean, could not even focus on secular things anymore because they're so brokenhearted for the state of the church and the bride and whatever. And that's revival. Anyway, so if you know anything about witchcraft, if you've studied any witchcraft, if you armor up real good and do a Google search, okay, I'm not recommending this, but the enemy has a counterfeit, and what the witches call impartation, what they call it is transference. And anybody that's into any kind of serious level of witchcraft knows that you can transfer stuff to people through objects or directly by physical contact, or by some other contact through a third person. And essentially what's happening is they are pushing red stuff into your cup. Okay? Now, you will end up with whatever red stuff was in their cup in your cup. And they'll probably get more, but it also is going to assert some control and some connection. It's going to create a soul tie and connect you back to that source and put you under their authority in some way. Okay, now, when Paul to the Romans in Romans 1:11 says, I long to see you that I may impart to you some spiritual gift to the end that you may be complete, he's talking to spirit-filled believers in the Church of Rome. He's not talking about tongues. He's talking about the complete package of spiritual gifts, the dunamis of God, the power of God, the multi-hued, variegated, beautiful package of possibilities, each as the Holy Spirit allows. Now, he's talking about maybe when he was there before, they weren't ready for administration. They weren't ready to have a really highly dialed up prophecy or discernment or whatever. Impartation is real. I don't have any. I've seen it over and over and over and over. I'm a product of people that have poured out of their cup into me. And I have always said, Lord, I want nothing that's not Jesus. I don't care who lays hands on me. I don't care if it's my mother. I don't care if it's my wife. I don't care if it's somebody I've known all my life. I don't trust man. I trust Jesus. So I don't want anything in my cup that's not pure, holy Jesus. And not even stuff that maybe they think I should have. I want what the Lord thinks I should have in my cup. Okay? Now the problem that's happening is some people are going to Lakeland saying, I want what's in Todd's cup so I can bring it back home and do what he's doing in my congregation. I want to be famous. I want to be a biker. I want tattoos. I want to jump on people and strangle them with the Holy Spirit. I want to kick little old ladies in the face. Whatever they're going for, they're going down there to get Todd in their cup. And they're going home with a big cup of Todd's red stuff. And maybe his yellow stuff too. Now, there are people that are going to Lakeland because they're sick and they're desperate and they're just so hungry and so ready for God to move. And they want Jesus. And they're going there and they're saying, Lord, give me whatever what you want for me, and they're getting Jesus. And their cup's getting more full of Jesus. And they're going home with some fresh outpouring of the good stuff in their cup. My warning all along has been, don't seek man. Seek Jesus. Now, if Jesus uses a man, fine. But put your armor on and don't receive anything that's not Jesus.